AATA for not allowing my stepdaughter to enter my house without my wife present. All right, Reddit. I've been a long-time lurker, but this is my first time posting. Here we go. I, 41M, have a stepdaughter, Becky, 22F, who has been struggling to adjust to adult life. I'll leave out a lot of details to avoid bias, but let's just say Becky has had a hard time holding down jobs. She usually quits within the first few weeks and then takes months to find a new one. Now, on to the relevant part. Becky has been staying with us for the past month and a half because her grandparents, with whom she had been living, are traveling and don't trust her to be alone at their house. I was reluctant to agree because she has a history of problematic behavior. She often refuses to shower, gets into screaming matches with her mother, and openly tells us to go to hell in front of our 2 young children. She has even called them slurs. She once called our 4- and 5-year-olds the F word. She also insists that we leave the door unlocked at night so she can come and go as she pleases. But then she doesn't come home, leaving our house unsecured all night. Everyone involved agrees that giving her a key is a bad idea. Back in November, Becky had a fight with my wife, Ashley, and bragged about how every time she was around her professional colleagues, she would tell everyone who would listen that Ashley was a horribly abusive mother. To make things worse, Ashley works in a field where an abuse accusation could cost her career and license. Around the same time, it also came to light that Becky had been telling Ashley, Ashley's sister, Becky's aunt, and Ashley's mother, Becky's grandmother, that her boyfriend and fiancé were physically and emotionally abusive, only for us to find out that these stories were completely fabricated. So now Becky is staying with us, and one of the conditions I set was that if Ashley isn't home, Becky isn't allowed in the house. This is both because I don't trust her alone in my home, and because I don't trust being alone with her. On top of that, I also work in a profession where a false accusation could be a serious problem, even if completely baseless. This arrangement has been in place for several weeks, but now Becky and her grandmother are complaining to Ashley that I'm being unreasonable. They argue that I need to show compassion and allow her inside when Ashley is working late or out with friends. I've stood firm telling Ashley it's not happening, and also, stop letting them bully you over my decision. Even if you tell me to open the door, I won't. Becky can find something to do until you get home. So, what do you say, Reddit? Am I the asshole? Additional context to ensure I'm not overreacting. Becky has been employed for 2 months now, a record for her. Since moving in, she hasn't been rude to Ashley and hasn't been a bad influence on her younger siblings. She has broken some agreed-upon rules but has been more of a nuisance, like cooking shrimp burgers at 11:30 p.m. when everyone else is asleep, than actually harmful or dangerous. So, she has improved.
Yes, it is quite ironic. Becky's own grandparents do not trust her to stay alone in their house, yet OP is being criticized for enforcing the same rule in his own home. This strongly suggests that OP's concerns are not unfounded. If even her close family doubts her ability to be unsupervised, why should OP be expected to take that risk? If the other grandmother is the one who is upset, then it appears she voluntarily allowed Becky to stay with OP and Ashley, but is now displeased because OP has set clear boundaries. This seems like a case of shifting responsibility onto others while disregarding the challenges that come with it. Ultimately, there is a clear double standard here. If Becky were entirely trustworthy and responsible, neither her grandparents nor OP would feel the need to impose such restrictions. However, the fact that multiple people in her life see the necessity of these rules speaks more about Becky's behavior than about OP's decision.
It's obvious that Becky urgently needs strict rules and immediate consequences for her actions. The problem is that if you give someone like Becky, a person with a history of erratic and borderline abusive behavior, along with false accusations, even a little leeway, she might take advantage of it, and you could end up regretting it for the rest of your life. Given that OP has 2 young children, he has every right to treat Becky as a hostile witness. Becky is an adult woman who is supposed to be responsible for herself. OP, on the other hand, is a grown man responsible for the well-being of 2 small children. It's great that Becky has been behaving better recently, but caution is still necessary.
NTA, you've been incredibly generous by even allowing her to be around your home and children. For obvious reasons, consider installing Nest cameras throughout all common areas of the house, except her bedroom and the bathrooms. You should also have exterior coverage and never be in the same room with her alone or in the house alone with her. She is completely untrustworthy. Honestly, the right answer would be never allowing her into your home at all. It's incredibly risky to assume she won't destroy your careers and lives out of spite. Have you and your wife considered what would happen to your young children if she were to accuse both of you of something that could lead to prison or losing custody? You're taking an enormous risk with your family's future for someone who has already proven to be vengeful and impulsive.
AIT for wanting to break up with my girlfriend. Because I was a challenge on a date? Need advice. I never thought I'd have to use this old account, but I'm really stuck and need some advice before potentially destroying what has, until now, been a good 8-month relationship. For a brief summary, my girlfriend, 24F, and I, 27SM, have been dating for about 8 months. I met her, of all places, at a funeral. I wasn't very close to the deceased. It was a friend's uncle, and I was just there to keep him company. Anyway, she didn't look sad. She was talking to a family friend, and smiling, which she noticed, so she made a pretty morbid joke asking me if I had put him in the coffin. It was so direct that I just snorted, laughed, and we ended up chatting all afternoon, with her number in my phone by the end. She was funny, witty, beautiful, and a really fun girl. So of course, I took a chance and asked her out, and she gladly accepted. My ego was through the roof. I had no idea. Last night, I got home a bit early from work. I was covering a shift, and the guy I was covering for showed up anyway, so they didn't need me for the full 8 hours. Anyway, I got home earlier than expected and heard my girlfriend laughing with someone on the phone. I was about to give her a little scare when I heard her say, and I quote, "I never meant for this with my boyfriend to last this long. I would never usually date someone like him." She saw me shortly after saying that. I admit, I made some weird noise, and she heard me. I've never seen anyone go that pale. Her eyes were watery, and her lips were trembling. Then, my girlfriend spent the next hour or so confessing that she never actually planned to date me, but once her friends found out she had given me her number, they found a picture of me online and apparently thought I was so hilariously unattractive that my girlfriend had to pretend to date me for a week to give me hope. I wish I were joking. Her friends, and apparently her ex-girlfriend, are still stuck in their high school mean girl phase. My girlfriend agreed to the plan, but I guess forgot about it because we've now been together for 8 months, not 1 week. She told me she was an idiot for agreeing, that I was a great guy, and that she truly loved me, but that she never expected to feel the same way about me. Why? Because I wasn't her typical type. When I asked her to explain, she mumbled that, at first, she didn't find me attractive at all, but after a few weeks of dating, my looks stopped mattering to her. I admit I lost my temper a little and called her immature and a waste of time. I told her I wished she had dumped me in the first week because finding out all this 8 months later, when I cared and loved her, was horrible. Right now, I'm staying with my mom because I need space to think and vent. Would I be the a-hole if I broke up with my girlfriend over this? Edit. Wow. I wasn't expecting this much of a response. Damn. So I turned my phone back on, and it's a flood of messages, voice notes, and missed calls. I've only listened to a couple, but she's sobbing uncontrollably and begging me to come home so she can explain.
Even if you didn't care about the joke part, she didn't date you because she wanted to. She did it because her friends pressured her. And then what? Did she tell them details about your first date? Did she share your intimate moments with them? Was your first kiss also a joke? Did she hesitate to kiss you because of the joke? Did she even want to kiss you? Thinking about that would drive me crazy because at what point did her joke turn into real affection? Or was she cringing and shuddering during those first few dates? How can you be with someone who considered you disgusting for how long? Weeks? Days? I have no idea.
I feel the same way. I mean, she never acted weird or hesitant when we first started dating. She was funny and sweet, and she even insisted we hold hands on our second date. But was that just another funny story to tell her friends? Was she laughing about how pathetically happy I was dating someone out of my league? I don't know. I'm driving myself crazy just thinking about it. At this point, I've given up. I feel exhausted, drained, and used.
Considering everything you've said, I can guarantee you, this woman is not out of your league. She's far below you. She doesn't even seem truly sorry. It's like she still thinks you should be grateful that she eventually stopped caring about your appearance. WTF? And now she's just trying to justify her shitty behavior. Even if somehow you forgave her, you'd never be able to forget this. Don't worry about what you've lost. Be cautious in the future, but don't let this stop you from finding a real relationship with someone who doesn't think hurting people is a joke.
Well, to start, you're definitely NTA. But I'd like to offer something a little different from the other advice you've been getting. Listen to her. At the end of the day, if she truly loves you and you love her, does it really matter why you got together in the first place? My wife is much more attractive than I am, and I know for a fact that the only reason we started dating was because we were friends, and she was tired of dating after a tough breakup. She wasn't sure about me. She didn't see me riding in on a white horse and suddenly feel weak in the knees. We both know the physical difference between us. Everyone does. It's no secret. But you know what? We've been married for over a decade and built an amazing life together. And no matter how much she doubted whether we'd be a good match or how long it took for her to feel attracted to me, that eventually changed. And now I have an incredible partner. She thinks I'm amazing. From your girlfriend's reaction, I wonder if she feels the same about you now. Dating is hard. It feels like it's getting harder every day. Something weird is happening in society, and it's not helping us. So, if you truly believe she loves you now, I'd give it a shot. A beautiful girl who makes you laugh and gets along with you. That kind of love doesn't grow on trees, my friend.
And that's the story for today. What do you think? Have you ever experienced something similar, or do you know someone who has? Let me know in the comments. I love reading your stories and debating with you all. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It helps me a lot to keep bringing you more content like this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever I upload a new story. And if you want your comment to appear in the next video, drop it below and tell me which story impacted you the most. See you in the next story. And who knows what we'll uncover next.